Good morning. It's story time. We're reading Junie B. Jones, remember? In chapter 1, she found out she had to ride the yellow bus to school, which she had never ridden before, and she was a little bit scared. And then in chapter 2, we found out that the kids were pushing on the bus and they pushed her down. But Mr. Wu, the bus driver, helped her, didn't he? And then in chapter 3, they got to the school and she met her teacher, Mrs. at the school. And that's where we're starting today, on chapter 4, me and Lucille and some other kids. All right, you ready? Here we go. Some of the other kids turned out to be in my class too. One of them was that meanie Jim. Mrs. made us line up and we followed her to our room. The name of our room is room 9. There were other kids waiting by the door for her also. And when she opened it, everybody squeezed in. And that meanie Jim stepped on my new shoe. "Hey, watch it," I yelled. Mrs. bent down next to me. "Shh, let's try to use our quiet voice while we're in school," she said. I nodded nicely, and with my quiet voice I said, "I do not like that, Jim." After that, Mrs. clapped her hands together very loud and told everyone to find a chair as fast as they could. That's when I ran to the table with the red chair. Only guess what? There was already someone sitting there, a girl with little red fingernails. And so I tapped on her and I said I would like to sit there, I think. "No," she said, "I am." "Yeah, only I already picked that chair out," I told her, "when my mother and I were here." But the little girl just shook her head no. And then Mrs. clapped her loud hands again and said, "Find a seat." And so I had to quick sit down in a yellow chair. Yellow is the same color as that school bus I don't like. After that, Mrs. walked to the back of the classroom where there was a big closet. It's called a supply closet. She got out boxes of new pointy crayons and little white circles. And then she passed them out. And we had to print our names on the circles. "If you need help spelling your name, raise your hand," said Mrs. I raised my hand. "I don't need help," I told her, "because I print my name beautifully already." I used red to print my name. But then a mistake happened. I made my Junie too big and there wasn't any room left for my B. "I do not like this," I hollered. Then Mrs. came over and made the shh sound again and gave me a new circle. "Thank you," I said nicely. The girl with the little red fingernails was faster than me. She showed me her circle and pointed to her letters. Lucille. That spells Lucille, she said. You want to see what Lucille looks like? See, there's Junie B, and there's Lucille. You can't tell her fingernails are red because, well, this is just a sketch. There's no colors. "I like the name Lucille," I said. Then Mrs. passed out drawing paper, and we all drew pictures of our family. Mrs. put a happy face sticker on mine. It was very good, except that I made my father too teeny, and my mother's hair looked like sticks. But it was still good. After that, Mrs. took our whole class on a walk around the school. Everyone had to find a buddy to walk with. My buddy was Lucille. The first place we walked to was called the Media Center. My mother calls it a library. It's where the books are. And guess what? Books are my favorite thing in the whole world. "Hey, there's a jillion of them in here," I hollered. "I love this place." The librarian bent down quickly next to me, and she said I have to use my quiet voice in the library. But guess what? I like books, all kinds of books, and I like books with pictures, but Mother says when I get big, I'm going to like books that don't have pictures. Then meanie Jim turned around and said, "Shh." So I made a fist at him. Then he turned around. After that, we went to the cafeteria. The cafeteria is where the kids eat. I said, It smells yummy in here. It smells just like paschetti and meatballs. Then that Jim turned around again and looked at me and held his nose. P.U., I smell you, he said. And Lucille, my buddy, laughed at that, so I wasn't happy with her. The next place we went to was the nurse's office. It's very cute in that place. There are 2 little beds where you get to lie down and little blankets, and the nurse doesn't look like a nurse because she doesn't wear all those white clothes. She just looks regular. Jim turned around in the nurse's office and said, P.U., I smell your feet, to Lucille this time. And Lucille stuck her tongue out at him. After that, Lucille and I were friends again. And that's where we're going to stop for today. Tomorrow's chapter, chapter 5, is called Principle. I wonder what that's about. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. See you tomorrow for story time.